men and women gave voice to the voiceless, but then the corporations bought the journalist, poisoning the news that we are fed. With those tainted sources, all we ever ate was a steady diet of status quo. This hijacked narrative hid the truth of mass suffering, injustice, and corruption throughout our land. Status quo, status quo, status quo, status quo. To expose this shift to oligarchy came a band of honest journalists. They left the studio and hit the streets to give the microphone back to the people. From sea to sea, the people were empowered to share their truth. Their voices no longer stifled, reclaimed their power. Join the media revolution now.
Hey there, Jordan Sheridan live on Tuesday. Wait a minute, what's today? Monday. No. What's today or not? Oh, Monday. March 16th, 2020. What a show we have for you. What a show we have for you. And honestly, last night I came live after the debate, and I had to keep my voice down, and I had to keep my anger down because it was 10 o'clock Eastern time, and I just moved into my new apartment, so I didn't want to piss off the new neighbors. By the way, what have we been here for 3 days? In 3 days I almost started a fire in my new apartment. So only took me 3 days, but I put out the fire today, so that's good. But I am, as a journalist, outraged. And I say outraged at what, to me, should be disqualifying for a presidential candidate, particularly one that claims, like Joe Biden does, to have the most experience of any candidate, to have been in the Situation Room time after time. What Joe Biden and his campaign has gotten away with is akin to political murder, and the media is not going to call them on it. So we at Status Coup will. So stay tuned for that. We have already 250 people watching. 134 of you have pressed that like button. It's the thumbs up button right under the live stream. I need every single one of you to smash that like button. It's a thumbs up right under the live stream. The more people that press that like button, the more people that will see this live stream. As a reminder, right now we have officially 148 Status Coup members away from 2,000 members. You can become a Status Coup member for as low as $5 a month. And Jen and I are both extremely excited because in a little less than 3 hours, we have our monthly members call. So you know what time that means. We're actually going to do 2 members calls this month because we missed it in February as Jen and I were traveling covering the campaigns. So we're doing 2 members calls this month. Tonight is the first of the 2. Join us if you're a Status Coup member at 7:30 Eastern Time. If you're a member, you will get a link via Zoom to join us. It's not on YouTube. It's through Zoom. It's a video call. You don't have to be on video. If you don't want to be on video, you could press the mute button and just listen. During our members call, we take your questions, comments, concerns. We laugh. We cry. It's wonderful. Jen and I are going to have some behind-the-scenes important news to share with our members tonight. So definitely, if you want to be on the members call tonight, you know what to do. Sign up, statuscoup.com/join. It's as cheap as an overpriced, burnt cup of Starbucks coffee a month. And anyway, I think Starbucks and Dunkin' Donuts might be closing down because of Corona. So there you go. You're going to save money that way. My girlfriend was very upset that I went to Dunkin' Donuts this morning. I know I'm coming from a very privileged place that the worst problems I have is oh no, I can't live without Dunkin' Donuts. But anyway, sign up and we'll read every new member we'll give a shout out during the live show now. So let me give you a couple updates before we get to Joe Biden, Because if Bernie Sanders did what Joe Biden and his campaign did over the last 24 hours, there would be screams from Neera Tanden and the whole gang for him to drop out. But Joe Biden does it. Nobody cares. Nobody cares. Nobody's calling him on it. So before we get to that, I want to give you a couple updates here. I'm obviously not a health expert, so I'm just going with the networks and what they're saying. Coronavirus deaths passed 6,500 worldwide. France has closed its border to contain the coronavirus outbreak. French President Emmanuel Macron said the country's borders will be closed to contain the coronavirus outbreak starting at noon local time on Tuesday. Moments ago, Macron said he was prohibiting gatherings across France, including family and other social gatherings. Russia will be closing its borders to foreigners on Wednesday. You also have Indiana reports its first coronavirus death. Earlier today, South Carolina confirmed its first corona case. Ohio closes gyms, movie theaters, and more. We're going to get to Ohio in a few minutes. San Francisco orders residents to shelter in place. So those are just some of the updates. And also New York governor, Connecticut's governor, and New Jersey's governor earlier today did a joint announcement that New York, New Jersey, and Connecticut are coordinating essentially corona restrictions, including, closing down restaurants, closing down bars. Restaurants and bars will only have delivery as an option, possibly pickup, if I'm remembering correctly. So essentially, the governors and the local officials are doing more than President Trump and his administration has done. On the positive end, I mean, it's very, very early and obviously no results. But on the positive end, the first coronavirus vaccine test started today. Let me read some of this to you. U.S. researchers gave the first shot to the first person in a test of an experimental coronavirus vaccine Monday, leading off a worldwide hunt for protection, even as the pandemic surges. With a careful jab in a healthy volunteer's arms, scientists at the Kaiser Permanente Washington Research Institute in Seattle began an anxiously awaited first-stage study of a potential COVID-19 vaccine developed in record time after the new virus exploded from China and fanned across the globe. Quote, where Team Coronavirus Now, Kaiser Permanente study leader Dr. Lisa Jackson said on the eve of the experiment, everyone wants to do what they can in this emergency. So this, although it's somewhat good news, the reality is, they would have to do several rounds of testing even if the vaccine was effective. So this could take upwards of a year. But at least, they're starting to try certain vaccines to see if they would be effective. I also want to read you this thread from an emergency room doctor earlier, and I'm getting to Biden in a minute, but I just want to give you the updates. Remember to smash that like button. We got almost 400 people watching, but only 229 of you have pressed that like button. I need another 100 or so of you. Press the thumbs up button right under the live stream. Makes a big difference. Let's get this audience upwards to 1,000 if we can. Now, I want to read this to you because I thought it was really, really instructive and frankly kind of scary. This is a thread from an emergency room doctor. As an ER doctor trying to treat patients who may have COVID-19, I can't underscore enough how much harder the lack of testing is making our job. Yes, we're used to making life or death decisions with limited information daily, but this scenario is very different. Here's why. For us, data is everything. Board-certified emergency physicians, ER doctors, are trained in a pattern recognition and rely on research to know when the preponderance of evidence directs us toward one or another path of treatment that could significantly help or harm our patients. With COVID-19, we doctors have very little evidence-based data on the basic science of transmissibility, incubation period, or even what measures would be taken to protect patients and providers. Our best evidence? What has occurred in China, South Korea, and Italy thus far. But the difference with these countries with these other countries with COVID-19 is that at the earliest point possible, a huge testing regime was used to determine the extent of the virus in the hospitalized, quote, very sick population, and the, quote, walking well, less sick population. We don't have that. Because of this novel coronavirus causes such minimal symptoms in so many young people, including children, as well as in older people at the onset of disease, we're not able to determine cases based on symptoms. This is how we managed the SARS outbreak of 2002-2003. SARS had a case fatality rate of 10%, but the ability to ID cases early and isolate them significantly limited its spread and kept fatalities relatively low. By contrast, COVID-19 cases are difficult to ID early above the background level of other respiratory viruses. So I'm going to put this in the super chat. If you're on Twitter, you could read his full thread. Basically, this guy is saying what we all know. There's not enough tests. It's not easy to get a test, as we've been seeing from people sharing their experiences the last few days on social media and elsewhere. And we're kind of at a point now where testing is not even. It's not that it's not important, but really testing, because of how much it has spread and how quickly it has spread, testing will only get you so far. For example, this thing is spreading so quickly, and I'll just read to you what I texted my dad earlier, because like me, like many of you that have to kind of convince your older parents to take this seriously, I told my dad yesterday at 5 p.m. Eastern. So yesterday, like almost 24 hours ago, at 5 p.m. Eastern, there was 329 corona cases in New York City. Governor Cuomo just said at a press conference at 10 a.m. So I told my dad there was 329 cases of corona in New York City at 5 p.m. yesterday. Not even 24 hours later, it jumped up to 463. Again, 329 cases up to 463. And what's important to note about that 463 number, and this was hours ago, so it's more now, that's just the numbers they know. Because as I'm about to show you, which Joe Biden recklessly tweeted out, and his campaign advisor, Simone Sanders, went on national television recklessly saying, there are many of us who currently have COVID, currently have corona, that are not showing any symptoms. Many people are asymptomatic at first, and it takes days to even feel any symptoms. So the count is obviously unreliable, because there's plenty of people around the country that are not going in for tests, that are not being tested, that don't even know they have it. I already saw a couple of you in the super chat saying, I think I might have it. Are you in the count? And I hope you don't, obviously. So this is a very, very quickly moving thing. And if you watched me yesterday during my daytime live stream and then my reaction to the debate, I said I would not be surprised by this time today if the states that have their primaries tomorrow cancel the primary or postpone the primaries. So far, one state, the governor of Ohio, has indicated he doesn't have the power actually to postpone the primaries. All he could do is recommend. It's the state legislature of Ohio and probably these other states, Illinois, Florida, and Arizona, that would have to make the decision whether to actually postpone it. Let me show you what Governor Mike DeWine, had to say about the primaries tomorrow.
A couple additional comments. We cannot tell people, as we are telling them, and as Dr. Acton will be saying in a few moments, that they really, really need to stay home, and that's in the best interest of their health, that the risk is high, and at the same time, tell them to go vote. Let me also say that we have, Frank tells me, 35,000 poll workers, something in that vicinity. These are people who are going to be there 13 hours or more. These are people who are going to be in contact with a lot of people that day, tomorrow. Many of these poll workers are older. And again, when we think about putting them together with so many people, it is frankly not fair to them, even though many of them have said, yes, we'll continue to do this. And some of them have done it for many, many years.
So that was Ohio Governor Mike DeWine, a Republican, who basically said what Tom Perez, the Democratic National Committee, Joe Biden, Nancy Pelosi, Chuck Schumer, what the entire Democratic Party leadership has refused to say, which is the obvious. How is it that the Democratic Party, how is it that the CDC can be putting out guidelines to postpone or cancel any events with more than 50 people? This was the CDC's guidelines just yesterday. Here you go. CDC recommends against gatherings of 50 or more. States close bars and restaurants. This was updated this morning. In an effort to slow the spread of the coronavirus pandemic, the Center for Disease Control and Prevention is now advising against gatherings of 50 or more people for the next 8 weeks. Okay, so how is it that Tom Perez, the DNC, Joe Biden, to be fair, Bernie Sanders has also not explicitly came out and said we should postpone these primaries. He did say during the debate that he was concerned about them. How is it that you have a Republican governor, a Republican, doing the right thing here, but the Democratic Party is choosing not to? And just real quick, as a reminder, we got almost 600 people watching. 340 of you have pressed that like button. I need another 300 or so of you. Press the like button right under the live stream. Makes a big difference to getting our audience up. And by the way, I want to see more member signups. We are currently 148 Status Coup members away from the promised land. That would be 2,000 members. We really, really want to get there. Again, Status Coup is only funded by you. You could sign up for as low as $5 a month. And as a reminder, tonight, in less than 3 hours, we have our members call. So if you sign up as a member right before 7:30 Eastern, 4:30 Pacific, you will get a link to join our members-only call. It's Jen, myself, and as many of you who want to join us, it's through Zoom. We got a lot to talk about tonight. It's really, really behind the scenes. Dare I say we do a little TMI, tell you some things we probably shouldn't have. So I hope more of you sign up while we're live now, statuscoup.com/join. So let's get to Joe Biden. Because what I find just unbelievable, oh, I totally missed it. We already have a new Status Coup member. Welcome, new Status Coup member, Louise. Woohoo! Louise, I love it. Welcome. We are now at 1,853. 1,853 Status Coup members. Keep signing up. Statuscoup.com/join. Statuscoup.com/join. Join us for as low as $5 a month. So, Joe Biden yesterday, and this is a super chat too, so keep it coming there. Thank you for the super chat. Jennifer Miller, $2. Let me show you what Joe Biden had to say yesterday during the debate on what he would do as president during a coronavirus type situation. Here we go.
Thank you, Senator. Vice President Biden, some medical experts are saying the only true way to control this virus is through a national quarantine, requiring every American other than essential personnel to stay home. Would you take that unprecedented step of a national lockdown?
What I would do is what we did in our administration. I would call a meeting in the Situation Room of all the experts in America dealing with this crisis. I would sit them down and I would do exactly what we did then. What is it that we need? Listen to the experts. What do we need? And with all due respect to Medicare for all, you have a single payer system in Italy. It doesn't work there. It has nothing to do with Medicare for all. That would not solve the problem at all. We can take care of that right now by making sure that no one has to pay for treatment, period, because of the crisis. No one has to pay for whatever drugs are needed, period, because of the crisis. No one has to pay for hospitalization because of the crisis, period. That is a national emergency, and that's how it's handled.
Just stick with me for a second. I don't do this often. I want to play that one more time because I want to make sure you hear what he just said. Okay? One more time.
People of America, do not worry about the cost of prescription drugs. Do not worry about the cost of the health care that you're going to get, because we are a nation, a civilized, democratic society. Everybody, rich and poor, middle class, will get the care they need. The drug companies will not rip us off.
Thank you, Senator. Vice President Biden, some medical experts are saying the only true way to control this virus is through a national quarantine, requiring every American other than essential personnel to stay home. Would you take that unprecedented step of a national lockdown?
What I would do is what we did in our administration. I would call a meeting in the Situation Room of all the experts in America dealing with this crisis. I would sit them down and I would do exactly what we did then. What is it that we need? Listen to the experts. What do we need? And with all due respect to Medicare for all,
So Joe Biden, and we're going to get to his misinformation on Medicare for all in Italy, because that's a whole nother thing. He has no idea what he's talking about. Italy having a Medicare for all system or a single payer system is not at all why the coronavirus has spread so rampantly in Italy. I'm going to get to that a little bit later. But Joe Biden, listen to what he just said. And keep signing up, folks. Keep signing up. We're at 630 live viewers. We got 430 of you have pressed that like button. Need another 200 of you. Press that like button. Thank you for the super chat. Jennifer Miller, $5. The Dem establishment is heavily reliant on older vote turnout. They are afraid of discouraging those voters from turning out. Oh, Jennifer, don't get me wound up because I'm about to go off on the Democratic establishment. But I just want to explain this to you. So Joe Biden, who the entire Democratic Party establishment, Obama, Neera Tanden, Terry McAuliffe, Nancy Pelosi, Chuck Schumer, all the governors, all the senators, all the mayors, all the congresspeople, all of them are endorsing him and lining up like ducks in a row, saying he is the proven leader. He's got the track record. He's who could defeat Donald Trump. He's who has the experience. Joe Biden literally just told you that how he would respond, if president, to the coronavirus pandemic is he would get all the experts in the Situation Room and just take their advice and go from there. Joe Biden, yesterday, and again, it is journalistic malpractice that no one in the media, other than maybe independent outlets, no one is calling out this dangerous misinformation. This is what Joe Biden tweeted out. The right to vote is the most sacred American right there is. State election officials are working closely with public health officials to hold safe elections. If you are feeling healthy, not showing symptoms, and not at risk of being exposed to COVID-19, please vote on Tuesday. Let me read that again to you. The person who says, I would listen to the experts. The right to vote is the most sacred American right there is. State election officials are working closely with public health officials to hold safe elections. If you are feeling healthy, not showing symptoms, and not at risk of being exposed to COVID-19, please vote on Tuesday. This is what Joe Biden tweeted out yesterday. To be clear, and welcome new Status Coup member Christopher. Woohoo! We are now at 1,854 Status Coup members. Keep signing up. We are T-minus. We are about 2 hours and 45 minutes away from our members-only call. So Christopher, Louise, thank you for signing up. You will be getting the link to join us on our members call tonight. And anybody else who signs up, I would love to get, hey, maybe we could get to that 1900 number by 7:30 Eastern time. I know there's a lot of people watching that have $5 a month. Of course, if you don't have $5 a month, if the budget is tight, we totally get it. If you can't support us financially, no problem. You could like us, you could share us. We really appreciate it, even if you can't support us financially. So, and I can't wait for the members' call tonight because I know Jen has a lot to say about all of the things I'm reporting. George Allen, $10 in the super chat. Thank you so much for letting me back on the members list. Sorry about the hang-ups with my card a few months ago. I'll try to keep the money on it this time. Thank you, George Allen. And by the way, can I just make a point here? I don't want to take any credit for that. Jen, in addition to her reporting and all the stuff she does as the president of Status Coup, she deals with a lot of the technical troubleshooting when people can't sign up as a member or whatever, their card got declined, and Jen works with people to make it happen because it's just Jen and I. She does an amazing, amazing job. So definitely, you don't see all the behind-the-scenes stuff she does. She's doing a great job. So, to be fair to Joe Biden, I want to read the second part of that tweet. He said, if you're exhibiting symptoms of COVID-19 or might be at risk, absentee or vote-by-mail options are the best way to make your voice heard while protecting your neighbors. Okay, so let's address the first tweet. And this is the same Joe Biden who just stood on stage in his arrogant, buffoonish way saying, this isn't about Medicare for all. If I was president, I'd get all the experts together and I'd step aside and listen to them. When Joe Biden penned this tweet, the experts, including the CDC, the Health and Human Services, all of them, clearly said, you do not have to feel symptoms to have COVID-19. Many people feel fine and don't realize they have coronavirus. It is a highly contagious illness, but not everybody feels it the same. Some people don't feel symptoms for days. Some people, when they do feel symptoms, they're very mild and people might not even think it's corona. They might just think, oh, I got a cough or maybe I have a cold. But you, as the Center for Disease Control has said, since this has become a major news story, as health experts, as Dr. Anthony Fauci, Trump's only competent person it seems, has said, you do not have to be showing symptoms to transmit the virus. Joe Biden literally tweeted out disinformation, saying, if you're feeling fine, not showing any symptoms, and not at risk of being exposed to COVID-19, please vote on Tuesday. There are several parts of this tweet that are dangerous misinformation. Let's go one by one. Number one, if you are feeling healthy or not showing symptoms, you're fine, go vote. I just told you that's bullshit. You don't have to have symptoms to have the virus. And Joe Biden could be telling people, hey, people that are listening to Joe Biden are like, oh, well, Joe says it's fine if I'm feeling fine, so I'm going to go. And that person doesn't realize that they actively have the virus and they might be standing on line to a person who's older or a person who's more susceptible to the virus and transmitting it. Young people in particular, they keep saying young people are the least at risk of this. Yes, that's true. We are less at risk than older people, but there are a lot of young people getting it in Italy and other places and transmitting it. It's not like young people are totally, immune to this highly contagious virus. Then he tweeted out, and not at risk of being exposed to COVID-19. Please vote on Tuesday. What the fuck is this guy talking about? We're all at risk of of contracting coronavirus, whether you're 95 or whether you're 25. The 95-year-old is a lot more at risk than the 25-year-old, but this virus could affect. You could get it if you're younger. So when Joe Biden is saying, and not being at risk, and not at risk of being exposed, what is he talking about? Again, this is the Democratic frontrunner for president right now. This is the person who's standing there on stage and saying, follow me to the promised land here. I am the one with the experience. I'm the one who's sat in the Situation Room with Obama. I've made tough decisions as his vice president. Obama delegated X, Y, and Z to me, and I got it done. I have the experience. People don't want a revolution. People want results. Meanwhile, you are passing off dangerous misinformation that might lead to people that are, I'm not saying they're naive, but trust you, to then go stand in a line with well over 50 people, because most polling places have over 50 people. So why is it that Joe Biden put out rampant disinformation that the CDC, their guidance contradicted, and nobody's saying a word about it? It's not just Joe Biden, by the way. It's his senior advisor, Simone Sanders, who was Bernie Sanders' press secretary. Let's take a look what Simone Sanders had to say on CNN last night.
Our democracy is extremely important. Even in times of strife in this country, we have to do our duty. So the CDC and folks have said it's safe out there for Tuesday. Our democracy is extremely important. Even in times of strife in this country, we have to do our duty. So the CDC and folks have said it's safe out there for Tuesday. So I don't know what Senator Sanders was talking about, but I'll tell you, Governor DeWine said it was safe in Ohio. So I encourage people to get out there and vote on Tuesday.
I'm going to play that one more time for you.
Our democracy is extremely important. Even in times of strife in this country, we have to do our duty. So the CDC and folks have said it's safe out there for Tuesday. So I don't know what Senator Sanders was talking about, but I'll tell you, Governor DeWine said it was safe in Ohio. So I encourage people to get out there and vote on Tuesday.
Oh, wow. Wow. First of all, where do you even start? Seth Peterson, $50 in the super chat. Thank you so much, Seth, for your continued generosity. Sick of the garbage MSM and their constant propaganda and servitude to the oil, pharmaceutical, insurance, and military industries. Sign up to Status Coup to get in the field independent reporting on the things affecting your life for as low as $5 a month. Seth, your check is in the mail. I couldn't say it any better than that. Thank you so much for the continued generosity. Your support means a lot, and it goes a far way. Your funding, like you're providing and other people are providing, is super important to Status Coup growing, which, by the way, keep signing up. We are now at 1,854 members. Would love to get a lot more signups before our members call at 7:30 Eastern time tonight, 4:30 Pacific time. And I expect to have a lot more people, since a lot of people are home. A lot of people, if they can, are working from home. I know a lot of people cannot work from home during this virus. So what's unbelievable to me, for those of you that follow, the campaign and all this, Bernie Sanders' press secretary, her name is Brianna Joy, I believe. Bernie Sanders' press secretary, when she's gone on national television, on occasion has slipped up, made a few comments that were an error, whatever. It happens. You're on national TV a lot. You're working 24/7 as on these campaigns. And sometimes she has made comments that were incorrect, and she corrected herself. When that has happened, oh my God, the media has pounced on her, including CNN. They have gone wall to wall. Bernie Sanders, press secretary, is putting out misinformation, blah, 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 blah. Joe Biden, after Joe Biden himself put out reckless misinformation, reckless and dangerous misinformation, his senior advisor just went on national television saying that the CDC said it was safe to go and vote. That's a lie. They did not say it was safe to go stand in a line and vote. She's just either uninformed, confused, or just a gross political operative who doesn't even care if they're putting people at risk, and they just want to win. So they're saying, yeah, you're safe. The CDC says you're safe. Even Trump didn't say that. So that's a lie. Then she says, well, the governor of Ohio says it's safe. No, he didn't. I just showed you the governor of Ohio saying we can't, basically, I'm paraphrasing, we can't in good conscience say it's safe to go out and stand in a line and vote. So the governor of Ohio, good on him, is recommending that the in-person primaries be postponed. Thank you for the super chat. Emperor Palpatine, $10. The worst thing about Biden is his predatory behaviors towards children. It is creepy and not okay and needs to be called out. Why are people not going after him for that? Well, get ready for Donald Trump to go after him on that. Get ready for the RNC to go after him on that. They certainly have the advertisements waiting. I can promise you that. There's a lot of things that I'm bothered that Bernie Sanders has not gone after Joe Biden on. I don't think it would have went over well if Bernie went after him on that. But there's a lot of other things that I think Bernie Sanders, frankly, if and when he loses this thing, he's going to have to live with, that he missed opportunity after opportunity after opportunity. But can you imagine if Bernie Sanders' press secretary had made these comments on national television? Somebody just mentioned if Nina Turner had made these comments on national television and wrongly said, yeah, the CDC says it's fine to go stand in a line and vote with an extremely contagious virus going around. Yeah, the governor of Ohio says it's fine, it's safe. No, he didn't. Hey, Akshat, get your camera in focus, Jordan. Hey, calm down, okay? I just moved into my apartment. I haven't even set up my camera. I'm actually going live from my computer right now. I'm going to set up my camera in the next day or two. I'm still unpacking here. I think the camera's just fine, personally. So it's just unbelievable. It's completely brazen. And if we had a media with any ounce of integrity, by the way, Chris Cuomo, who, pretends, let's get after them, I hold the powerful accountable. He just had Simone Sanders on his show giving reckless disinformation that literally, this is not dramatizing it, literally could make people sick. That kind of misinformation. I'm not saying she intends to make people sick, but that casual misinformation that Biden put out there, that Simone Sanders put out there, could make people sick. And they're getting a complete pass on it. And by the way, listen, I'm just going to keep it real. Let's be honest. Why Joe Biden, Simone Sanders, and all of them were pushing people to vote? Let's just be honest about it. Joe Biden's base is not America. His base is people in the Democratic Party over the age of 50. I'm not insulting my viewers that are over the age of 50, but that's just the reality. Biden's base is the boomers over 50. So as this crisis gets worse and worse, Joe Biden's not a dummy. He knows that older people are going to be more and more hesitant to go out and be in public places because older people are the most susceptible to this. So what Joe Biden and Simone Sanders and his entire campaign, as they blew off what the CDC was telling people, as they blew off what the health experts were telling people, to say it's safe, go and stand in a line. And by the way, in fairness, Bernie Sanders hasn't firmly came out yet and said it should be postponed. I think he's in a tough position because if he did come out and say it should be postponed, the Jennifer Rubins of the world, the Washington Post, CNN, MSNBC, they would all be spinning it that he doesn't care. He's just trying to stop the bleeding, stop Biden's momentum. He wants them postponed because he's going to lose. Polls do show him losing right now in Florida, Arizona, and these other states. So he was in a lose-lose position, Bernie Sanders. If he comes out and calls for it to be postponed, they're going to go after him. If he doesn't, he's not doing the right thing. So, to me, and if you don't believe what I'm saying, listen to Trump's own health expert today saying exactly what the CDC has said and exactly the opposite of what Joe Biden and Simone Sanders told people on Twitter and on CNN.
If you are sick, no matter who you are, please stay home. If someone in your household is diagnosed with this virus, the entire household should quarantine in the house to prevent spread of the virus to others. The reason we're taking these strong and bold steps is because we know there is virus spread before you develop symptoms, and then we know that there's a large group, we don't know the precise percent yet, that actually is asymptomatic or has such mild cases that they continue to spread the virus. If your children are sick, please keep them home. In the house to prevent spread of the virus.
Right there, right in front of the orange orangutan, you have a health expert saying many people are asymptomatic. Many people are asymptomatic. Meanwhile, just yesterday, Joe Biden, who claims, if I'm president, I'm going to be listening to the experts. I'm going to get them all in the same room. I'm the steady hand here. I'm the one who's been there, through the fires. Vote for me. He says, hey, if you're feeling healthy, not showing any symptoms, go vote. All I got to say, folks, iceberg right ahead. Iceberg right ahead. And the reason why forget the campaign for a second. The reason why this is so dangerous, and as always, thank you, Colin Tooley, for that wonderful graphic. Thank you for the super chat. Let me see, get your name. Yazin Yusuf, $2. Votes or people's lives, they choose the earlier. It's true. It's sad, but it's true. By the way, we got almost 900 people watching right now, but only 620 of you have smashed that like button. It's a thumbs up button right under the live stream. The more people that press that like button, the more people that will see this live stream. Maybe we could get this over 1,000 viewers. Lickety split. Keep signing up. Statuscoup.com/join. Become a member. Right now we are at 1,854. 1,854 members. I would love to get that number. Maybe we can get another 20 or so members before the call tonight. And by the way, I just got an email from a person who signed up as a member last week. If, for whatever reason, you did not get the link, it's probably because Jen didn't send it out yet. She usually sends out the link for the members call about an hour before. So if you haven't gotten the link, we haven't sent it out yet. But if you don't see the link in your email inbox before 7:30 Eastern Time, email info@statuscoup.com, info@statuscoup.com, and we will get you the link if for whatever reason it doesn't come through to you. I would love to get as many new members as possible to make this a big call. We will have news to tell you tonight, so keep signing up. So, and Lon Differender. I really enjoy the reporting that Status Coup does, but the frequent interruptions make it difficult to listen. There are more fundraising interruptions than a PBS station doing a fund drive. Hey, Lon, I hear you, brother, but the truth is, PBS has corporate funding. We don't. That's why we do a lot of fundraising while we're live. And people, as I always say, you can't have it both ways. We could all sit here and complain about the corporate media, but if outlets aren't going to take corporate funding, which we don't, we have to be aggressive about grassroots fundraising. So sorry if that bothers you, but not much I could do. And frankly, if I didn't, quote, interrupt as much as I do, we wouldn't be anywhere near the members number we are currently at. So sorry if you don't like it, but it is what it is. So the bottom line is here, folks, Joe Biden, basically because he brazenly wants to win. He wants to win Arizona, Ohio, Florida, Illinois. Basically was putting out complete bullshit, dangerous misinformation about you're fine to go vote. You're fine. If you're not feeling symptoms, you're fine, which directly went against the CDC's guidelines. Then his campaign advisor did even worse than that, went on television and said, the CDC says you're fine, you're safe. The Ohio governor says you're fine, you're safe. Neither of these things were true. Chris Cuomo, the mannequin from CNN, just stood there as Simone Sanders basically gave American citizens dangerous misinformation. He didn't correct her. I haven't heard one journalist today point out that the information Joe Biden put out there was incorrect. You want some more information that Joe Biden put out there that's incorrect? Because, frankly, Bernie Sanders missed a huge opportunity to clobber him over the head. D-Doc, $10. Hey, Jordan, I heard that Medicare for All favorability increased since the beer virus reached USA. Have you heard about this? Thanks. I haven't heard about this. I know that Medicare for All in every single state that has voted so far has had majority support. That I know. I haven't heard about whether it's increased since the coronavirus outbreak. I'll look that up, and if it has, I'll report that. Thanks for bringing it up. So let's hear what else Joe Biden had to say that was just complete bullshit.
You have a single-payer system in Italy. I would call a meeting in the Situation Room of all the experts in America dealing with this crisis. I would sit them down and I would do exactly what we did then. What is it that we need? Listen to the experts. What do we need? And with all due respect to Medicare for All, you have a single-payer system in Italy. It doesn't work there. It has nothing to do with Medicare for All. That would not solve the problem at all. We can take care of that right now by making sure that no one has to pay for treatment, period, because of the crisis. No one has to pay for whatever drugs are needed, period, because of the crisis. No one has to pay for hospitalization because of the crisis, period. That is a national emergency, and that's how it's handled. It is not working in Italy right now, and they have a single-payer system. Now, with regard to what else I would do, the fact is that we're in a position where I would bring together the leading experts.
So, according to Joe Biden, the reason the coronavirus is rampant in Italy is because they have a single-payer system. And he said, well, in Italy, they have a single-payer system, and it's a disaster. Is that true? Of course not. But of course, Bernie Sanders, for whatever reason, refuses to go at Joe Biden. It is political malpractice. Political malpractice. First of all, Italy, just a little, dare I present some facts. Here's the health rankings of healthcare ranks of all countries around the world. This is population 2020, according to the World Population Review. France has the number 1 healthcare ranking. Italy has the number 2. Anat, is number 2 fairly high on a ranking system of, I don't know, over 100 countries? Number 2? That would be pretty high, right? So Joe Biden says, oh, Italy's healthcare system's a disaster and they have single payer. Well, it just happens to be number 2 in the entire world. Bernie Sanders, I don't know what you're doing there. I don't know what Bernie Sanders is doing in these moments where he misses these opportunities. Here's another one. Italy is the world's 2nd healthiest country. Same report I just read from you. Italy is known around the world for its healthy diet and lifestyle, so it comes as no surprise to hear it came 2nd in the global index ranking countries worldwide on factors that contribute to the overall health of residents. Italy was beaten out for first place by neighboring Spain in the 2019 edition of the Bloomberg Healthiest Country Index, which ranks 169 economies worldwide. Four other European nations featured in the top 10, Iceland, Switzerland, Sweden, and Norway.
Where's Greece on that?
All by the way, have single-payer universal healthcare systems. Let me show you this list where Italy is number 2. Let me find where the United Corporations of America is. France, Italy, okay. Let's go all the way down. Where are you, America? Oh, America comes in 37th. 37th place. Italy, 2nd place. I don't know. Jen, I know I did not go to Harvard, but is 2 higher than 37? Is 2 higher than 37? So, what Bernie Sanders should have said, I don't know why he didn't. Italy, the reason that the coronavirus has spread rampantly in Italy has nothing to do with the fact that it has a single payer system. What it does have to do is Italy, like America, did not act aggressively enough, early enough with the steps that they are now taking. What they should have done, and what America should have done, was pretty much have a nationwide quarantine like they have right now, basically in February. That's what they should have done. That's why it spread rampantly. It has nothing to do with the fact that they have a single payer system. If anything, more people are being tested in Italy than America because they have a single payer system. You fucking idiot, Joe Biden. But Bernie just let him, and to the basic viewer who's watching that doesn't know all this, that doesn't have time to do the research, they're saying, oh, wait, Italy has a system that Bernie's advocating for, and it's a disaster in Italy, so I don't know if I want this Medicare for all. Bernie let him basically muddy the waters, confuse things, and he had an opportunity to be like, that Italy you're talking about is ranked number 2 in the whole entire world. And the reason Italy is such a mess right now is not because they have universal health care. It's because they didn't take the immediate actions that we have not taken in America. By the way, when it's all said and done, United Corporations of America might end up being worse than Italy. I hope that's not the case, but it's very possible. We don't have the testing that Italy has. We certainly do not have the hospital capacity. I mean, they obviously have way, way less people that live in Italy. I think Italy is about 60 million. We're 330 million. But Joe Biden is just lying. I mean, there's no other way to say it. He's lying. And you want to know something? You want to give him the benefit of the doubt and say he wasn't knowingly putting out misinformation by telling people, if you're not feeling symptoms, go vote, you're fine. That's almost worse than intentionally giving people misinformation. Either way you slice it, he either knowingly put out misinformation because he knows his bread is buttered with older voters and he wants them out there before this thing gets way worse. He wants them out there in Arizona. He wants them out there in Illinois. He wants them out in Florida. He wants them out in Arizona. Or he's incompetent. And he doesn't understand what the CDC was advising, which was you don't have to have symptoms. You can still have coronavirus. God forbid, but I could have it right now and I feel fine. You could have it right now even if you feel fine. It's the type of thing where if you walk and you get close to someone who has it and they might not know they have it, it's a highly contagious virus. Which one is worse? Is he intentionally putting out the wrong information, or is he incompetent, doesn't understand it, and is also putting out the wrong information? By the way, this is the same Joe Biden who says, no, I didn't vote for the war in Iraq thinking that I was giving George Bush the approval to go to war. No, generally when I vote for something called the authorization for military force, that's not to actually go to war. That's just so we could all have tea and sing Kumbaya. Sorry, I'm getting it out. I wasn't able to go loud and proud last night. New apartment. Didn't want to upset the neighbors. By the way, just let you know, we are now T-minus less than 2.5 hours. Less than 2.5 hours away from our monthly members call. Very, very sorry to the person in the super chat who criticized me for fundraising. All I have to say to people like you, I'm sure you're a nice person, go away.
Bye, Felicia.
Bye, Felicia. And the reason I say that is very simple. I just have no tolerance for people that complain about corporate media, which I agree. And then for the very entities that refuse to take corporate money. We don't take any money from the fossil fuckers, the big bankers, big pharma, big real estate, Silicon Valley, plutocrats funding the Democratic Party, plutocrats funding the Republican Party. The only way we could exist and travel around the country like we have is growing our membership. So
there's a pandemic going on, and this is what this loser is concerned about. Priority.
So the truth is, we have to aggressively call and try to grow. So if that bothers you, I'm sorry, but we're not taking any shortcuts because we don't. I'd rather aggressively fundraise on air than do behind the scenes private meetings without you knowing and sell out. That ain't going to happen. Not happening. So The bottom line is, Joe Biden either is grossly incompetent or he's a liar, and he put his voters at risk for political advantage. And by the way, Jen, correct me if I'm wrong, maybe something has changed as I've been live. It's only the Ohio governor that has come out and advised that the elections be postponed. Again, he cannot make it happen. All the governor can do is advise. He doesn't have the power to postpone elections. Why is it isn't it interesting that Illinois governor, billionaire J.B. Pritzker, he's not doing the same? Anything to do with the fact that he just endorsed Joe Biden today? Isn't that interesting? The governor of Illinois, billionaire J.B. Pritzker, endorses Joe Biden for president on Monday, a day before the state's primary election, and apparently it's just safe and fine for voters in Illinois to go vote. I'm sure it has nothing to do with the fact that J.B. Pritzker endorsed Joe Biden. I'm absolutely sure J.B. Pritzker had no communication with the Biden campaign whatsoever about voting. Doubt it. Yes. The Ohio governor is a Republican. So it's unbelievable. In this case, a Republican is doing the right thing. When Tom Perez, the Democratic National Committee, Joe Biden, Governor J.B. Pritzker of Illinois, a Democrat, is not, listen, I'd be happy to I will be happy to have egg on my face if he ends up doing the right thing and calls for these elections to be postponed. But I don't see that happening, being that he just endorsed Joe Biden today. As far as I know, the Arizona governor is a Republican, and as far as I know, the Florida governor is a Republican. So it's possible. It's possible that Florida Governor Ron DeSantis, I'm no fan, will call for the same thing Republican Governor Mike DeWitt called for. It's possible that the Arizona governor will do the same thing. But here you have the Democratic Party's leaders, Tom Perez, the DNC, Joe Biden, Nancy Pelosi, Chuck Schumer, all of them are spreading misinformation that it's fine. And putting people's lives at risk. And by the way, you know you're in a pretty fucked up, sad state of affairs when Mitt Romney, yes, Mitt Romney, is to the left of Nancy Pelosi on coronavirus economic relief. Mitt Romney today said we need to send $1,000 to every American adult. Granted, I don't think that's enough. $1,000 is not going to cut it if people can't go to work, if people get laid off because of coronavirus, if people's hours get cut. $1,000 is not going to cut it, but it's a start. It's a start. Nancy Pelosi hasn't suggested that. It's not only Mitt Romney. Tom Cotton, this right-wing extremist, Tom Cotton, as the Huffington Post Zach Carter pointed out. Nancy Pelosi is officially to the right of Tom Cotton on economic support for American families. This is a total failure of the Democratic Party leadership. And he shows Tom Cotton's tweet, the House relief bill doesn't go far enough and fast enough. We're going to do everything we can to get cash into the hands of affected workers and families as quickly as, I don't know what the rest of it was. And you wonder why Republicans keep winning elections. Because we don't have a real opposition party in the United Corporations of America. We have batshit extremist Republicans and mildly less corrupt country club Republicans masquerading as Democrats. The Democratic Party, if Nancy Pelosi wasn't a bought-off corporate servant herself, should have came out and said, we need immediate, yes, quantitative easing. If we could, like that, give $1.5 trillion to corporations and oil companies. Trump did it. If we could do that, then we could immediately give minimum $5,000 to individuals and more to couples. The government is already showing that it prints money for what it wants. It's not a matter of they don't have the money. It's not even a matter of how are we going to pay for it. All of this is putting all of that into a little corner, and it's showing you that it's complete bullshit. We have plenty of money to pay for all of these things. It's called modern monetary theory. I've spoken about it often here. I've interviewed Steve Grumbine on modern monetary theory. We have the money. The government prints the money. They choose not to print money for things that will help working people, things that will help minorities, things that will help the vulnerable in this country. They don't want to open Pandora's box. Because if they start printing money for the working class, that means that the corporate overlords are going to lose their gravy train, and we cannot have that. Welcome new Status Coup member, David! Woohoo! We are now at 1,855 members. That would be, if my math is correct, 145 members away from 2,000. David, you and the other people that sign up, and we need to get more, that sign up will be getting an invite link to the members call, which is now or a little over 2 hours away from our members call with Jen, myself, and as many members that want to join us. And do not fret. If you don't see the link, it's because we haven't sent it out yet. It's not through YouTube. It's through Zoom. It's a video call, but you don't have to be on video if you choose not to. There's a button to mute your video. And it's a lot of fun. You know, a lot of people, we've literally had people call in to these members call like from a hospital bed. If they were in the hospital, people call in from home, people call in and put their pets on screen. It's a lot of fun. So we're looking forward to that in a little over 2 hours from now. Statuscoup.com/join. Let's get as many new members as we can. Of course, you could become a member for as low as $5 a month. So how is it that we are told that the Democratic Party, Jen just sent the link, so you should be getting that link to our members call. How is it that we're told that the Democratic Party is the party of workers, the Democratic Party is the party of the working man and woman, and Nancy Pelosi just pushed through this toothless bullshit bill that covers 20% of workers? I don't want to hear that's all that Trump would allow. If you are a leader, which she is not, patrons get the link too. Just to be clear, if you don't understand, we are trying to build up our membership, so we advise people who are not anything yet to sign up at statuscoup.com/join. But when the company first started, we did have a Patreon. So we do have, I think, 371 of you are patrons. So if you're a patron, you also will get the link. So patrons and members are all invited. So I don't want to leave out our patrons. So what's amazing about all this is you have Mitt Romney suggesting give people $1,000. It's not enough, but it's something. Tom Cotton. Who's next? We're going to have Rush Limbaugh suggesting more progressive policies than what the Democratic Party is offering in the state of in a pandemic? If Nancy Pelosi had any integrity, had any leadership, they would call the Republican Party's bluff, and they would say, the Democratic Party is putting forward a bill to give individual Americans, let's say $5,000 to start, couples with X amount of kids, $8,000 to $10,000. The Republican Party, it's up to you. We've done our job. The American people need relief. They did not cause this. This is out of their control, and we cannot leave people to die, to be evicted, to default on their student loans, default on their mortgages. We cannot allow that to happen. But they won't do it. They won't do it. And by the way, just want to point out, sorry if I'm considered a sexist for saying this and a barbarian for pointing out facts. Elizabeth Warren has the unmitigated gall to pen an op-ed. She wrote an op-ed today titled, "We Need a Grassroots Stimulus Package." We need a grassroots stimulus package. I'm going to put this in the super link if you kids at home want to read along with me. Thank you, Super Chat. Jamerican 347 999. Tulsi introduced HR 897 hashtag emergency UBI before all these people. Yang hasn't endorsed it. Yang and Biden are a part of CAA talent agency. WikiLeaks exposed CAA role on cutting off Tulsi after Bernie 2016. I'm sorry, Jamerican. I'm going to say something you're probably not going to like, but I'm just going to keep it real as I always do. Tulsi Gabbard should have dropped out. Tulsi Gabbard, for those of you that are paying attention, cost Bernie votes in Washington State and other places. She has a right to stay in as long as she wants. I'm acknowledging that. But on the pure math, there is no mathematical reason that Tulsi Gabbard should have stayed in this race, frankly, past New Hampshire. And by her staying in this race, if you look at the numbers, she very well could have cost Bernie Sanders Washington State by the number of votes she got there. So all of you who love Tulsi Gabbard, I like Tulsi Gabbard. I like her foreign policy views. I like her anti-regime change views and all that stuff. But unlike some others, my head is not so far up her ass that I can't, offer constructive criticism. By her staying in the race, she hurt Bernie Sanders in Washington State. And by the way, just keeping it real, it's a little inconsistent if you're attacking Elizabeth Warren for not dropping out and costing Bernie Sanders votes, but you don't do the same thing for Tulsi Gabbard. Have some intellectual consistency. It doesn't mean I don't like Tulsi Gabbard. I do. But I don't know what honestly, I really, really, really. Somebody said, Jordan, you're such a dumb fuck. Thank you. I don't know what her point in staying in is I don't know what her point in staying in was, other than maybe she's shooting a documentary. I'm just speculating. I don't know what the point is of her staying in. And for those of you that say, Jordan, those people weren't going to vote for Bernie, yeah, I think they would have. I think Tulsi Gabbard voters, I'm not generalizing, but I think the majority of them, if Tulsi wasn't available, would have endorsed Bernie Sanders. So, again, I don't know her reasons for staying in. I'm not saying she doesn't have a right to stay in. It's America. Theoretically, we have freedom to do what you want. But it cost Bernie. Cost Bernie. That's the truth. So what I was going to say, John, JC Nova, $5. Jordan, love you, but this has nothing to do with her 2020. Her bill can actually help right now and needs more traction. Warren cost Bernie more votes. I agree. I'm all down with her vote. I'm down with that bill. I think we need emergency UBI, 100%. Thank you for setting me straight. I was just pointing out she should be criticized for staying in the race. So I want to point out the unmitigated gall that is Elizabeth Warren, who, frankly, if she decides to run for re-election, oh, by the way, we just got another new Status Coup member. Welcome to the party, Fred. Woohoo! We are now at 1,856 Status Coup members. Keep signing up. We are now officially 2 hours away from our monthly members call with all of you fine people. So Elizabeth Warren, who, like in 2016, has decided to completely sell out, sit on her hands. She's apparently not endorsing Bernie Sanders because of the trauma of snake emojis towards her on the Twitter. Apparently, her campaign is playing footsie with Joe Biden's campaign. It came out that, Joe Biden says, I'm endorsing Elizabeth Warren's bankruptcy plan, which is basically the whole plan is to unravel the toxic shithole of a plan that Joe Biden pushed through in the Senate, his bankruptcy bill, which, by the way, in addition to the absurd lies that Joe Biden told about, I never called for cuts to Social Security during that debate. Jake Tapper, Dana Bash, none of the moderators challenged him on his brazen lies. Joe Biden literally had the gall to say, I didn't write the bankruptcy bill. I didn't support the bankruptcy bill. This is Trump-level lying. You know how Trump just breathlessly and casually lies so often that you don't even, it doesn't even affect us? Joe Biden is so brazenly lying. He lied last night about never calling for cuts to Social Security. He lied about not supporting the bankruptcy bill. He lied about his Iraq war vote. He lied and said, I'm for a ban of fracking, when he last year said, I'm not for a ban on fracking. He lied about his history of supporting the Hyde Amendment. I mean, this is just to name a few. Oh, you know what? I got another thing he lied about. Somebody sent me this earlier. Let me show you this.
Mayor Giuliani had a tough, whether you do or not, as a former judge, Mayor Giuliani had a tough policy that was controversial on predominantly black neighborhoods in New York.
That's right.
And Mayor Bloomberg came in and said, let's make it even harsher, to the point that it was ruled by you unconstitutional.
That's true. And there was a second half to your question. You said, what did people say last night that was wrong? Well, Mayor Bloomberg said, when I realized it was bad toward the end, I ended it and dropped 95%. That is not accurate. In the last 2 years or so, it began to drop dramatically. It dropped 67%, not 95%. But it wasn't because he realized, had an epiphany that it was wrong. It's because of the court rulings. That's what happened.
Right.
I ruled.
And Joe Biden said that the Obama administration stopped it. I thought you stopped it.
Yes,
was Joe Biden correct or not?
Of course he's not. You got in just ahead of me. I was going to say that Vice President Biden was totally
Lucky I'm
wrong,
not in your
too.
courtroom.
That's right. He said that the Obama administration appointed a federal monitor. Totally wrong. I appointed a federal monitor in August of 2000.
Correction, that wasn't, he didn't lie about that during last night's debate. He lied about it 2 debates ago. My bad. So this guy is just so breathlessly lying, Joe Biden, and he gets away with it. And guess who else? Guess who else breathlessly lied for months and months and months in 2015 and 2016, and the media didn't call him on it, and then he became president? Donald Trump. Thank you, Robert Copeland, $5 in the super chat. Thank you, Obi Alfred, $5 in the super chat. As someone who frequently went after Gabbard, I blame Bernie's ass for not pressuring Gabbard out, nor courting an endorsement. In fairness, from what I hear, he did, and his campaign did. I never reported that because I can't confirm it, but from what I have heard from people that I know in Bernie's orbit, they did have discussions with Tulsi Gabbard. So her staying in, what can I tell you? Who else said it? Maker of things, $2. Tulsi didn't take votes in Washington. It's fraud, dude. I mean, look at the numbers. Her votes going to Bernie could have made the difference. So Jen and I are looking into fraud in other states. We'll have more on that as we do more research. We've both been extremely busy. So Elizabeth Warren, who, you know, clearly doesn't give a damn about the things she claims to champion for, writes this today. The coronavirus relief package awaiting a Senate vote should not be delayed, and we must pass it immediately. But we need to do more. The U.S. is heading towards a recession, and Speaker Pelosi has already announced plans for additional emergency response. This is the right approach. We must act quickly to enact a major fiscal stimulus package that wards off economic disaster. This legislation must meet the challenge of the crisis we face by taking the next steps crucial to safeguarding our public health, including truly universal paid leave. And it must learn from the lessons of our response to the 2008 financial crash. During 2008, I watched firsthand as our government offered a no-strings-attached bailout to the same giant banks that had driven our economy over a cliff. Meanwhile, the government did too little for most homeowners facing foreclosure. In the years that followed, the big banks quickly returned to profitability while countless American families struggled to recover. We could do better this time. First, the stimulus must be large enough to match the challenges that families and communities face. In 2008, the stimulus package was too small, too tilted towards ineffective tax cuts, and too unwilling to make the structural changes needed to address serious damage to our economy. Once economists figured this out, Congress refused to pass another stimulus bill. The economic fallout was predictable, a sluggish recovery that left too many working families behind. Based on the latest projections of the likely economic harm of coronavirus, I have called for an immediate $750 billion stimulus, roughly 3.5% of GDP. Next, the federal government should focus on recovery from the grassroots up, not Wall Street down. This means focusing on helping people directly, and in doing so, addressing the gaping holes in our economy that leave families one lost paycheck away from defaulting on their mortgage, car credit, or student loan payments. Direct help begins by closing the gaps in the paid leave policies already approved by the House. Direct help also means increasing Social Security benefit checks by $200 a month. That would send vital financial help to seniors and people with health conditions that make them more susceptible to coronavirus. I can't read any more of this because I can't stomach it. So, I mean, it goes without saying to Elizabeth Warren. It just goes without saying. If only there was a grassroots candidate. If only there was a grassroots candidate proposing paid sick leave universally. If only there was a grassroots candidate proposing a guaranteed jobs program. If only there was a grassroots candidate who has been fighting Wall Street that you claim to be against in that op-ed. If only there was a grassroots candidate who hasn't taken a dime of money from Wall Street, while there's another candidate who is literally doing more Wall Street fundraisers than campaign events. If only Elizabeth Warren had the opportunity to endorse a grassroots candidate that would provide universal paid sick leave, universal pre-K, universal health care, universal education. Damn it. Elizabeth Warren's in a pickle. She just doesn't have somebody that could do that. This Elizabeth Warren is a case study. She is the case study on how Washington sucks in once progressive individuals. There's a lot of corrupt people now that when they went into Washington had vision, had some integrity. They suck you in and they spit you out as a establishment shell. Because all the things that Elizabeth Warren is endorsing that need to happen right now in this economic stimulus, that we need paid sick leave, and we need direct cash to workers, and we need $200 for people on Social Security. I think more than $200. $200 isn't going to get you far. An increase of $200 is not enough. You know who, as president, be a lot easier to get those things done? You know who you would have a partner in the White House with to get those things done? Between Joe Biden and Bernie Sanders? And this is why Elizabeth Warren, frankly, if she decides to run again, should be primaried. She's not a progressive. She is a self-serving faux-gressive. She is a self-serving faux-gressive. And Elizabeth Warren, let's be clear, Elizabeth Warren cost Bernie Sanders Massachusetts, cost Bernie Sanders a much bigger victory in California, a much bigger victory in Utah, a much bigger victory in Colorado, probably cost them a victory in Minnesota, might have cost them a victory in Texas. And now she has the gall, after choosing to sit it out and not endorse Bernie because she doesn't have any conviction and she's not actually part of the progressive movement, she has the gall to say, we need all the things that Bernie Sanders is suggesting overall, not just in the case of relief for the coronavirus. It's just disgusting. And she won't be called out for it. Maybe some progressives will, but you know. And I think she's in for a rude awakening because she's not going to get the same crowd that she used to get. She's not going to get the same support that she used to get from progressives because she has made her choice, and that is to not back up the progressive cause, to not fight for the progressive cause. And she's also politically a dummy because in her mind, if she actually thought that by sitting it out, don't endorse Bernie, you will ingratiate yourself to future President Biden and he'll play ball with you. He'll, take your suggestions for who should be in his administration. He might appoint you to something. I got news for you, Elizabeth Warren. Joe Biden is not going to grant you a parking pass in the White House, much less actually take your suggestions. If you actually think he's sincere, that he's going to try to push through your bankruptcy plan as president, I got a bridge to sell you. If Bernie Sanders supporters believe that Joe Biden now coming out and saying, I'm now for Bernie Sanders' free college education plan for people making less than $125,000 a year, which, by the way, is not even Bernie Sanders' plan. Bernie's plan does not have means testing. It's for anyone. If people believe that he's going to follow through on that, good luck. Good luck. Last thing I want to tell you, and by the way, just a reminder, we are now just a little over an hour and a half away from our members call. Can we get a couple more signups? Statuscoup.com/join. Can't wait for our members call tonight at 7:30 Eastern Time, 4:30 Pacific. Jen has already sent out the link, so a lot of you folks should already be getting the link to join our members call. It's going to be a good one tonight. We got some news to share with you. Keep signing up, statuscoup.com/join. Now, I'm very careful. I'm very careful about what I report as far as election fraud or any of that stuff. I don't want to just be some jagoff, retweeting and sending out shit from people I don't know and la-di-da-da. Look at what accidentally went out. Oh, shit. Kyle deleted it. Damn it. So, Jen, do you have that shot? Oh, Jen has it. Hold on. Let me get it. Kyle Kalinske tweeted it out, but then he deleted it. So, let me get it. Oh, hold on. Let me find this. All right. Screen's going to go black for a second because I have to load it. So this was tweeted out during the Price is Right in Illinois. This was accidentally put out today. This is a CBS station with Biden at 50% and Bernie at 45%, with Biden at 986,341 votes and Bernie at 893,249 votes. Kyle had tweeted this out. I guess other people were tweeting it out. Multiple people are saying the station claims they're running test scenarios. I mean, it's certainly possible they're running tests, but I host a show. I never need tests for basic graphics. I dismiss the exit poll stuff as conspiracies, but obviously this stuff is fishy. It adds up, and I wouldn't put anything past these people after 2016. I got to tell you something. I used to work at Fox News. I still have the scars to prove it. I used to work at MSNBC. I have never, ever been in a control room where I saw outlets testing election graphics with specific numbers. I've never seen that before. And if you're testing with specific numbers, where do you get those numbers from? That's a pretty specific number. Biden, 986,341. Bernie, 893,249. Based on the polling, Bernie's actually down significantly more than 5%. So if they were legitimately testing just to make sure the graphics are right and just throwing out numbers, why wouldn't they put up the numbers that the polls today are showing? I'm not a conspiracy theorist. I generally report only when I have facts that I could back up. Sometimes I report things and I make clear I can't verify this, but people I trust are saying it. But that smells fishy to me. This is Illinois. Illinois. I don't know. Jen, give me a call. I want to get your thoughts on this before we wrap. Because to me, this smells fishy. This smells fishy. Not to mention, the Illinois governor literally just endorsed Joe Biden today. And by the way, I mean, if you live in Chicago, if you live in Illinois, this isn't new to you. Shall I say corruption as an understatement? Unbelievable. So before I wrap, oh, here's Jen. Jen, am I being a kooky? Am I being a kooky conspiracy theorist here, or does something not smell right here?
Yeah. So my thought is, it definitely doesn't smell right. There's no reason they put the numbers out like this. One thing that we do have to keep in mind, though, is that there are, official people who release these votes, and the outlets then report them. Some report them slower, some report them faster. So it's not like this news outlet, this local channel, is the one that's like determining the vote or anything like that. But the fact that they did so specifically and accidentally, release this, it doesn't make any sense. So I wouldn't say like, let's get out our yellow vest specifically for this incident because this was put out there into the universe. But everybody should be aware of what's going on, and I think take stock of all the anomalies, and anomalies is in air quotes, that are happening, because they are always not in Bernie Sanders' favor. They are always, it seems, in Biden's favor, or the vast majority.
I'm sure we will talk about this and much more in 2.5 hours. Actually, almost an hour and a half on our members only call.
An hour and a half.
Are you looking forward to this members call?
I am very much looking forward to this members call, partially because it is so fun to interact with the members. We truly do listen to all of your questions, your comments. We have a lot of fun going back and forth. People who don't want to be on video don't have to be on video, but it's really a time to kind of get the community together and be in kind of like a more intimate setting. Like, that's not just in the very fast-moving super chat or live chat, or with just you talking. Like, it truly is a back and forth with members and with us, and it's always a lot of fun, but we learn a lot. I think other people learn a lot, and we often reveal way too much information that we don't just reveal, to the general public. So that's one of the major perks of being a member, and I definitely think everybody should join.
All right, I will see you soon.
I sent out the link. So for any of you who are members already, make sure you check your email inbox, and if it's not there, email us at info@statuscoup.com. And I want to make it very, very clear, even if you join right up to the last minute, meaning right now, it's okay. I will still get you the link. So even if you join right now, even though I sent out the mass link to all the members, join, because I promise you I will individually send your link just for you. Status2.com/join.
And by the way, check your spam too if you don't see it, because we're going to spam a lot.
Yeah, definitely check your spam, guys, but we're always happy to help if you just email us.
All right, see you soon.
Okay, bye.
Bye-bye. With that, let me take a couple questions, comments, concerns before we sign off for the night. Well, sign off before our members call. Let's see what's going on in the super chat here. It's too specific to be a coincidence. I'm telling you, I mean, I worked for cable news outlets. And I was in the control room often, never saw test graphics with specific numbers. I saw test graphics just with candidates' images, never specific numbers. So to me, that's very fishy. Very fishy. Spam-a-lot. True. And as a reminder, you could become a member for as low as $5 a month. So hope we get some more signups before tonight. Hello, Status Coup. I just tried to join your group as a status slayer and got the message that I don't have access to purchase this item. $5 a month is all I could afford. Leslie, email us at info@statuscoup.com, and we will help you get you signed up as a member. Let's see. Tell Jen I got my link a minute after she sent the email. I just told her, Robert, glad you got the link. Could it have been an intentional, unintentional reveal? A whistleblower of sorts? Oh, man, I can't get into that level of psychological douchebaggery. But maybe it is a whistleblower. That's interesting. When are the people going to get tired of all this corruption? Edward, I'm with you. And frankly, I'm looking forward to covering a yellow vest type movement. I think we're getting there. I really do think we're getting there. Why did Bernie and his campaign prop up Warren for a year and a half and go soft on her? To be honest, Bernie was in a lose-lose position. I mean, if he went at Warren aggressively, he's going to be attacked as a sexist, asshole, animal, Bernie bro. So I think he should have been more aggressive towards her. But, you know, it's not easy when you're a male politician in this woke world we live in where, you know, frankly, to me, it's sexist to make it seem like females need to be treated like with kid gloves politically. Like Elizabeth Warren, she's a very smart person. She's also a capable politician. I don't think she should be treated with any more kid gloves than any other politician should be treated. I also think that she should be held to the same exact standard as male politicians. So it goes both ways. I don't think she should be treated more critically than male politicians, and that is sexism. But I also I think Bernie should have gone after her the same he goes after other people. The problem is Bernie generally doesn't go after candidates aggressively enough because he is a revolutionist trapped in a Washington, D.C. politician's body. That's the problem. Even last night, I mean, he had a few good moments, but even last night, he didn't go nearly hard enough. Jordan will be in an old folks home before you see him in a yellow vest. I take that as a compliment, first of all, but I do not think I will not be in a yellow vest because I am a journalist and I'm there to cover it. So yes, I will not be in the yellow vest, but I will certainly be there to cover it, and I will definitely be in an old home one day. Not yet. Please, please, please become a member now, statuscoup.com/join, because I will do future members-only live streams from my senior citizen home. I can promise you that. Why not both? Biden is incompetent and a liar. That's fair. Carlos Lobo, $4.99. Sanders really being a bully. Poor Joe was just trying to lie to America again. Oh, Carlos, you make me laugh. Warren started out supporting Medicare for All, then backpedaled. Do you really think she genuinely supported Medicare for All, ever? Do you really think so? I don't think so. Bernie is a reformist, not a revolutionary. I think Bernie is a visionary. I think Bernie is somebody who has galvanized and inspired and activated a whole generation of people that might have not been active, but he's not a bare knuckles brawler, and that is a problem. And that has been a big problem for him dating back to 2016. And I think one day when he and Jane are sitting there on the porch in Burlington, Vermont, when he's a little bit older, he's going to regret it. I think he's going to regret it. Particularly if Joe Biden becomes president and then the terrible shit starts happening that would happen under a Biden presidency. Is Biden better than Trump on the margins? Yeah, I think so. I think Trump's more dangerous than Biden. But that doesn't mean Biden is good for the country. Rick Wallace, $2. Jordan just said, I'm too pretty to die. Fake news. I did not say that. Stop the lies. And by the way, it is now about 6 o'clock Eastern time. My prediction, by tonight, you're going to see more of the states that are up tomorrow. More governors calling for the in-person elections to be postponed tomorrow. If they don't, it is completely, not only reckless, frankly, sociopaths. They are literally putting their voters and their citizens in danger. Against the CDC's guidelines, against the experts' guidelines. Thank you for watching. I will see all of you tonight. Again, if you are a member or patron, you will get the link to our Zoom call. It starts at 7:30 Eastern time with Jen and I. If you are a member and you are not seeing the link, email info@statuscoup.com. That's info@statuscoup.com. We're very, very excited. And like Jen said, you could sign up all the way to 7:30 Eastern, 4:30 Pacific time. And if you sign up as a member before then, we will make sure you get the link so you could join us on the members call. Look forward to seeing you guys tonight. Sign up, statuscoup.com/join for as low as a burnt, overpriced cup of coffee from Starbucks a month, $5 a month. Peace out.